Alright guys, welcome back to some more Seduce Me. Basically today we are picking up right where we left off, and I left up to you guys to decide whether or not we continue with this decision of, I guess, being the assassin, and I guess that's basically the role we just got, where we're going to have this poison vial, we're getting our memories erased, so we won't know what to do until the absolute last moment, and then it'll apparently all come back to us. Now I'm banking on the, I guess the ability to just have a choice at the end and not actually have to give her this vial or whatever, but I just don't know what's going to happen. Now, you guys did vote, and it was very close. I think going back and doing the other choice was just like 1 or 2 votes more than going with this new choice. Now, for the first time, because normally even if it's just 1 vote, I would go with it, but because it was so close, because people really did want to see one or the other, for the sake of the fact that this ending is already going towards an ending we've seen already, I do want to see what happens if we go this route, if we're forced to do it or not, and if not, if at the end we don't decide to give it to her, maybe we tell the other demons about the, or tell Diana about the other demons' plans. I want to see what happens from there. I want to see if Diana is able to, I guess, somehow squash their differences and lead from there, or whether there's actually going to be a fight between them. That would be pretty cool to see. So we'll see what actually happens. Maybe they'll all end up getting crossed off instead of just her. Who knows? Maybe she'll end up being the Demon Lord and we were wrong. I don't know. But either way, let's go ahead and check it out and see where this story leads to. I shut my eyes and felt the world spin around me before I relaxed as silence overtook my senses. My body floated for a bit in an empty void before softly landing on a surface, causing me to open my eyes and look around. What happened? I was in the hallway on the floor. How did I get there? I was on my way to my room. Weird. I stood up, brushed myself off, and looked around, hoping that no one saw me snoozing on the floor. When I noted that the coast was clear, I quickly continued on my way to my room. I must have been more tired than I thought. Wait, have we... Yeah, we were with Matthew before, right? Matthew got better or something? I just don't remember him being in any more scenes since then. Oh, that's right. We were walking back from what happened just then. Wonder, dang, that's gonna be crazy. What made my head spin was the fact that Matthew had been under the influence of his father and mother's control. It was beyond imaginary, yet it happened. I couldn't believe it, but at the same time, I had no choice but to come to terms with it. As Matthew entered the room at last, I smiled and stood, walking over and wrapping my arms around him as he returned my embrace.
You're the best person in the entire universe. You know that?
And you are too, Matthew. We held each other, locked in silence and unable to say anything more. We had been in a heavy predicament and we escaped. Sure, the Demon Lord may have still had some sway over Matthew, but it wasn't enough to control him now. As the thought of tomorrow danced in my head, I began to fear it even more. Oh, shit, the battle's tomorrow? Was I ready to go into battle? Was Matthew? Were any of us for that matter? We were about to walk into the final battle of a world war. Would we survive? Would I live to see James afterward and feel his... James! What? We're cheating? What the fuck? When I live to see James afterward and feel his embrace again? Oh my, this is some scandalous stuff going on. Tomorrow brought too many questions to think about, and I became frustrated and scared. And then we're just going to make love to Matthew after thinking about that? Jeez, man. Okay, well, let's just do it. I needed to hold him and treat the night like it was the last night of the world. Tomorrow was unpredictable, but tonight was guaranteed. Hopefully this sex scene's a bit different. What if it's just James after that? Like, well, that would be crazy. I guided Matthew back and sat on the bed, looking at him before slowly easing out of my shirt, locking eyes with him as I slowly began to strip for him. What? His breath became slightly hitched as he watched, obeying my silent demand to keep his eyes on me. As I finally became bare from the waist up, I pressed my hands onto the bed and slid back, letting my legs up onto the mattress and holding them out for him to do the honors. Well! I tilted my head, letting him get the picture as I dangled my legs out for him. My goodness. Matthew let out a shy sigh before nodding and biting his lower lip and crawling up onto the bed, grasping my clothes and sliding them off of my legs, leaving me completely bare for him. Jeez. As he tossed my clothes to the side, I settled back onto the bed and held out my arms to him. Come here. Pardon. Obediently, Matthew followed, kneeling between my legs and pressing his hands on both sides of my body, staring deep into my eyes and making me become lost in his gorgeous blue irises. I slowly danced my arms up over his shoulders and felt his skin slightly heat up beneath my hands and making me slightly smirk up at my loving incubus. I'm all yours. I want you to take all of me. Everything? Just frickin' devour it? The carnal desire that flashed in his eyes made my body shudder even before his enthrallment began to settle into my body and completely encase my core in desire.
I don't deserve you.
Ew, why do you say it like that? Our words became muffled, lost in the air as he pressed his lips hard against mine and quickly began to discard his jeans. Joining me in my bare exposure and taking in my scent as I relished feeling his skin against my... I swear, these dudes are always either smelling or just fucking, like, devouring. Which, you know, worries me. However, what surprised me was him turning me over and wrapping his arms around my waist, hugging me back against his chest. I took the hint to grip onto the bedpost and arched my back for him, impatient. Then, pleasure racked through me and I became a moaning mess in his arms. Oh my god. This is legit. This is just doggy style right now. The bed rocked hard against the wall as I dug my nails into the wood and took in his love with our lovemaking. Really. My heart sung arias of love as my core screamed songs of ecstasy for the man taking me. This was indeed our last night in the demon world, so we would relish the feeling of magic and lust melding around us as we soared into euphoria. Even as we angled ourselves to lock lips, our inhibition... How are you doing that? In the same position? Our inhibitions became lost in the air. Literally breaking your back. What the fuck? We became rough, rapid, and roaring in the pleasure that rushed through us, quickly washing through our peaks once, twice, 3 times. Damn! We didn't care to count farther. My goodness! Losing our senses within our arms. As our ride eventually had to end, we settled onto the mattress, panting and gasping. The natural musk of our sweat, delicious, danced in the air as we slowly cuddled together and relaxed into the sheets beneath our bodies. I was dizzy, I'm sure, swimming in oceans of joy and love within Matthew's arms, causing me to nuzzle my head beneath his and kiss over his Adam's apple. Ew, what the fuck? Of all things to kiss, you kiss that? I'll always be here in your arms.
And I'll be here in yours.
This is giving me gas. This is giving me gas. A sense of hope and courage wrapped around us that night, laced with our undying commitment for one another. We would survive. We would be okay. I felt safe in Matthew's arms, and I'm sure he felt safe in mine. We would return to the human world and be okay. Tomorrow would decide everything.
Castle.
What the fuck was...
Okay, she's got my magic with her.
I was gonna say, what the fuck? Did you just sneeze?
Dude.
What was that? Hold on. Dinah, however, kept wait. What is... A pair of guards rushed forward. So this is new. Carrying a flailing imp demon who was caught in chains and forcefully slammed down in front of Diana. She glared down at him and gripped one of his horns, pulling him to his knees.
You should be thankful we didn't throw you into a stew like we did your partner.
Oh shit! So she's admitting that she was eating imp balls. With that whisper, Diana dragged her nails across the imp's neck, slicing open 5 large gashes in his throat and making him garble out a painful, bubbly cry. Damn! What? I thought she was gonna save him. I guess being slight like, you know, that is better than boiling alive, which is, I'm assuming, what happened. Diana, however, kept holding his head up, focusing on the blood that poured from him and guiding the energy that emanated from it towards the castle. With a flash, a large purple and red orb barrier that surrounded the castle shattered, fading into the air. The barrier that held the Demon Lord at bay was finally open, allowing us to charge in and end this once and for all. Dinah summoned her saber, letting it shine brilliantly as the purple taint over her skin began to... Okay, so she's turning. Okay.
To war! To battle!
Fabulous.
Make sure you stay safe.
I mean, I know she means well, but this is legitimately like her 4th line. So we're jumping into the forest. All right, we're jumping into the forest. This is where we get to see our new moves, and I can't, because I think we only know how to fly, and we know like that ensnare thing. So we'll see if this ends up being pretty cool. The journey was surprisingly, dare I say, peaceful. The sound of the war exploded beside us outside of the tree line, causing me to cover my ears a bit from the volume, but I shook my head and pressed forward, not wanting to become distracted. The goal was to get to the castle. I had to focus. As I rushed forward, I felt my instincts go aflutter, causing me to stop and remember that I could fly. My incubus skidded to a halt beside me, looking to me in out-of-breath confusion.
Hey, what's going on?
I'm about to take off. I looked at him, staring into his eyes and contemplating my plan. It took a lot of energy out of me, but it was faster than running. Plus, what about him? You're just gonna leave him in the dust? I would be holding him with me. No way! Adding on to the weight. I took a moment before mentally hitting the fuck it button. What the heck? I quickly grabbed my incubus's hand and pulled him close, tightly wrapping an arm around him and shooting a hand down to the ground. Fuck! we have to announce it? Anyway, fly! As my voice rang through the air, my feet suddenly were pushed all up and off of the ground, pulling my incubus along with me and causing him to wrap his arms around me in utter surprise and fear of falling. Oh geez, our bodies shot into the air. Above the trees, let us see the battle raging beside us. I stared in shock as the battle escalated between the two sides, slicing and ripping at each other for territory and ground. Still, the thought of the castle ran through my mind, causing me to shake my head and fly us forward, and the incubus in my arms held me tighter. It was a little cute to think about him holding me like this for once as I guided us through the air. I knew that there were imps still in the forest below, however, so I glared into the trees and pointed a hand out, forming a familiar green orb in my hand and chucking it into the woods. I repeated the action over and over as we continued forward. I could faintly hear the sounds of imps below becoming caught in my thorns, some even crying out from actually being impacted by one of my orbs and being cocooned by a thorny trap. Oh shit! My incubus, despite probably being surprised at my carnage, this isn't as much carnage as before, it's just kind of cool, ignored the sounds below us and held me close to him, knowing that if he let go, he would fall. I wasn't focused on him at the moment. Damn! All I cared about was getting us to the castle. By the time we reached the end of the forest, there was a slew of dead bodies behind us, all entangled in a forest full of thorn bushes. I landed at the tree line, panting and feeling waves of exhaustion running through my body. I panted for air, slowly focusing on calming down, as my energy quickly depleted from its continued usage to keep me in the air. That was all I could do before my energy was expended and a wave of exhaustion rolled through my body. Alright, moving into the castle. We quickly rushed into the Demon Lord's castle, desperate to get inside and aid Diana in fighting the Demon Lord. Alright, here we go again. Hand by the crotch, par usual. As we rushed in, however, we stopped to see Diana and the Demon Lord standing off. Diana had her saber tightly gripped in one hand, while she glared daggers into her opponent. The Demon Lord carried a large smirk on his face as he stood on the dais, or the dais, whatever, of his throne. As Matthew and I entered, his smirk grew that much wider. Oh my god, flame boobs! Wow, your mom's kind of young there. Matthew, however, seemed to care more about the woman kneeling on the ground. She's still alive? I thought that was like a spirit or something. Beside the Demon Lord with her hands on her knees, frowning at him.
Mother!
Damn. Why didn't we save everyone else's mom? Are they all crossed off?
Ah, there he is, my son.
Ew.
Get him out of here now!
What? I stared at Diana as she continued to face the Demon Lord. What was she talking about? The Demon Lord simply laughed and pointed at Matthew.
Well, what are you waiting for? Claim your throne.
What are you talking?
At that moment, Matthew's body pulsed with a faint blue light. He curled over his body and gripped his head, digging his fingers into his hair. Matthew? Matthew, what's wrong? Busted nuts?
Get him out of here!
Oh shit. I rushed to Matthew, now terrified to what was happening. Before I could place my hands on his shoulders, however, Matthew vanished into a dissipating afterimage. Huh? Oh! The sound of steel clashing against me to turn and see Matthew and Dinah clashing swords. Dinah gritted her teeth as Matthew glared into her gaze.
Damn it, fool!
You told us to come here! I mean, shit! This was the plan.
I said, take your throne!
Oh no. Matthew's body pulsed again, forcing him to push against Diana and sending her flying back to stand beside me. As Diana reached me, she moved a hand in front of me, blocking me from Matthew. Matthew! Matthew looked up at me and Diana, his expression twitching from trying to maintain control of himself. His eyes flickered between blue and gold as he gripped to his sword tightly. I wasn't afraid of him, so I stepped out from behind Diana and walked towards him, holding my hands out. Shit, I really hope we sided with him enough to not get skewered. Matthew, it's okay, you can overcome this.
Stay back.
No, please don't fuck me up. I ignored him and continued to walk forward, needing him to be okay. Whatever spell the Demon Lord had on him wasn't powerful enough to consume him. I needed to break its entire hold on him once and for all. Fight it, Matthew, you're strong enough to beat this. Matthew dropped his sword and gripped his head, digging his fingers into his hair and curling over himself. He scratched his nails over his horns, angry and aggravated, or basically the same thing.
Don't want to hurt you.
So don't, my dude. You won't, Matthew. I know you won't. At last, I stopped in front of Matthew's body. I gently tilted his head up and cupped his face in both of my hands. His face was warm from the mental struggle as his eyes flickered between blue and gold. I trusted him, though. Matthew loved me, and his love would crash through this spell. Let me help you. I quickly leaned in and kissed Matthew's head, making him gasp and freeze within my arms. I felt myself slowly drained of my remaining energy, but I didn't care. Matthew needed it more than me, and if I was able to free him, then I would. The air around us became lighter and easier to breathe, even as we separated. I stared into Matthew's eyes, seeing him stare wide-eyed at me in shock. They were completely painted in gold, causing my heart to tighten for a moment. Did he break it? Oh shit.
Enough of this! Kill her!
Please don't! What happened? As the Demon Lord's voice reverberated in the air, a large sword embedded itself into the Demon Lord's stomach. Yes! Is that his?
You!
Why'd you say you, and then get shafted?
What the?
What the? Seriously? Oh! What kind of baby dagger? Matthew looked... Wait, hold on. Thumbnail. That's pretty sick. Matthew looked back at his father, his hand extended out towards him, as his eyes finally regained their ocean blue color. My heart began to jump in ecstatic joy. Matthew had broken free from the spell his father trapped him under. Thank God.
How can this be? Impossible!
Very ironic. I love when they say that.
You expected me to follow your orders, you sick bastard!
You almost did. So I stared wide-eyed as Matthew turned around and summoned a new weapon into his fist. A dark blue aura emanated from his body, flickering like flames as he stared the Demon Lord down.
You will never convince me to kill the ones I love.
Sweet.
Insolent brat!
Wait, don't you have a sword in your belly? The Demon Lord gritted his teeth before sharply extending his hand towards Matthew's mother. No! We could only watch as red ethereal chains shot out from the Demon Lord's back towards Azera, wrapping around her form and crushing her. No! Who are you? First time I seen you.
No!
Damn it. Stop it!
Your energy, woman!
Like that, huh? Faster than we could react, red lightning began to surround and shock Azera's bound form. The red energy traveled through the chains holding her hostage and into the Demon Lord's body, making him grow a terrifying blood color. A large sword formed in the Demon Lord's hand, arcing with red lightning. Matthew's first sword, which was impaled on the Demon Lord's stomach, crumbled into ash. And he just healed and fell onto the floor, leaving a black scar mark. The Demon Lord's eyes, however, fixed themselves on Matthew's form with deadly intent.
I'll kill you!
Faster than I thought imaginable, Matthew stepped forward and vanished, only to reappear in front of the Demon Lord with his sword held high. As Matthew swung his weapon down, however, the Demon Lord held out his hand and forced Matthew back with a burst of red energy. So he's like the Flash, that's like his special ability, he's just super quick. Matthew skidded backwards, crossing his sword over his body to shield himself from the blast. As the energy faded, the Demon Lord's lips curled into a crazed smirk.
Then come, little boy! Show me what you can...
He's already there! The Demon Lord stopped, staring at Matthew as his body froze. I hitched my breath. What was happening?
Enough.
Oh shit, you? Gonna turn Super Saiyan? Those flame boobs? Everyone turned their heads towards Matthew's mother, seeing her hold the chain that connected her and the Demon Lord in a tight grip. Her body was shaking, but the rage in her eyes could make any demon fall to their knees.
I will not let you hurt my son!
About to get shafted, my dude. Before the Demon Lord could turn and do something, a large bolt of blue energy shot from the chain and into the Demon Lord's back, causing him to arch back and scream in pain. Oh damn, you getting crispy? Matthew grabbed onto me and covered me with his body, as Diana blocked her face with her arms. The magic was so powerful the room began to shake violently. What? I watched from the cracks of Matthew's arms. I guess she was holding back. She wasn't giving him all his energy or something. Matthew's arms was as dark black and red energy traveled down the chain from the Demon Lord into Azera's body, making her body pulse and grow in power. The Demon Lord, however, became weaker and surprisingly became much more frail. What?
You are... my...
I am not yours any longer!
Get shitty. Another heavy blue bolt rushed through the chain and into the Demon Lord's body, causing a splash of blood to jut from the Demon Lord's mouth. What? Matthew finally stepped away from me and began to walk at the Demon Lord, forming a sword in his hand. As he did, the Demon Lord collapsed onto the floor, on his hands and knees, and growled animalistically at his son.
It's over.
We'll be seeing you. What surprised me was the smirk that graced the Demon Lord's bleeding lips and the chuckle that erupted from it.
You are indeed the perfect son.
What? Damn, see ya. Oh, I hope that's not bad. Please don't let it be bad. Without another word, Matthew raised his sword and rammed it into the Demon Lord's neck, effectively pinning him to the ground and killing him. A bubbly cry of pain barely escaped the Demon Lord's mouth as his eyes glazed over, dead. See ya. My heart felt major relief, shaking a bit as a weight lifted off of my soul. The Demon Lord was dead at last. I was free and we could go home now. Dinah spat to the side, catching my attention.
To think his own wife and son would be the ones to kill him. What have I been doing for the past 10 years?
Yeah, right. Did she do anything? Like, were they like about to fight, but they did, but she didn't get the chance or something? I couldn't stop the amused smile on my face as Dinah walked up beside me, rubbing her neck in irritation. You weakened him a bit for them, I'm sure. Dinah rolled her eyes as Matthew finally rushed up the dais towards his mother.
Mother!
Gross. What is this? This looks a bit more sensual than look, fingers about to go up the butt. What is that? Okay, what is that? His mother wrapped her arms around Matthew, squeezing him to her. Matthew hugged her back just as tightly and kind, joyous to see her freed from the Demon Lord's power.
I'm right here. It's gonna be okay.
I was beyond happy for Matthew. His mother was safe now, and the Demon Lord was defeated. I could feel some sort of weight lift off of my shoulders, knowing that the curse had been broken with his death. I smiled as I watched Azera cry in Matthew's arms. Before I could step forward and join them, however, Dinah placed her hand in front of me, glaring ahead of her, looking up at her with a very surprised face. Diana?
Stay back.
What do you mean? Why? I'm saving. I'm going to save right here. I'm going to go to him because I've done that the whole time. So that's what I'm going to do. I really don't want to die. Diana was being paranoid. The Demon Lord was dead and Matthew's mother was safe. Nothing was wrong. Shit! I forgot about the mom. Oh no. I'm probably dead. I knew there was a reason why her fucking finger was about to go up his ass. I knew it. Nothing was wrong. She must be making a fuss over nothing. I pushed Dinah's hand away and took another step forward before feeling Dinah's hand grasp my shoulder, digging her fingers into it.
I said, stay back.
Is that the real problem? Was she the real evil this time? I stared wide-eyed at Diana, seeing a very frightened look in her eyes. Was something truly wrong? I looked back to Matthew and his mother, now concerned.
My sweet Sakeru, you're finally home.
I don't like that smirk, lady. You know, I don't like that.
Of course I am. I had to save you, right?
Why does he sound different? Azera or something, is that, yeah, Azera smiled and kissed Matthew's forehead, slowly rising to her feet with him. As she fully stood, something in the air changed. The room became a little more peaceful and bright as Matthew turned towards me and Diana.
I guess I can finally introduce you to my fiancée. She helped in saving you.
Oh no, please don't tell me there's some weird shit going on. Oh no, what are you looking at me like that for? Azera smiled very softly and looked to Diana, passing over me. What? I felt a little angry at being ignored, but I understood. She wouldn't expect a human to be his future wife.
The princess of Lilith's kingdom is your intended?
Look at his face.
What? No, not her.
Oh shit, this is where shit goes bad, right? Before Matthew could step towards me, however, Azera's face delicately crunched up at the sight of me. What the?
Why is a human here?
Racism?
Huh? Mom, that's my fiancé.
The atmosphere suddenly changed. Oh shit. The air became colder and something wasn't right. Something in Azera's eyes changed too, becoming hard and vicious.
A human?
Help?
Yeah?
Oh no. Another battle? Fucking final boss, stage 2? Azera locked eyes with me, and I suddenly gasped and became lost in my mind, detached from my body. I couldn't move anything or speak a single word, and her eyes remained their icy blue color. What was happening?
Human. Who are you?
This is fucking Skyrim? I'm Lisa. I'm no one. I'm an army slut. What? Used for energy and sex. These are not coming out of, it's not coming out of my mouth, is it? What? Matthew stared at me, completely shocked at what I had said. I, however, could only stare at Azera, whose gaze continued to burn into mine.
You are not expecting to be with my son. correct?
A human like me is not worthy? What the fuck? Look at him. You gotta know this is fake, my dude. Come on now. Instantly, my mind was my own again, and I released a gasp of surprise. I collapsed into Diana's arms as she reached out to catch me. Azera looked to Diana, offense clearly written across her features.
How dare you?
What the fuck?
Matthew, get away from her!
What is going on?
You're about to get shafted. Look, the finger's still there. You ever seen freaking Naruto? I looked up and watched as Azera glared at her own son and placed her hand on his chest. Her hand was engulfed in a dark blue glow that spread to the taint, on Matthew's skin. Some sort of invisible force pulled Matthew back and slammed his body into the Demon Lord's throne. Oh no. Matthew? I mean, that was more intense. I said it weird. As his body came to rest against it, blue chains wrapped around the throne and Matthew's body. The chains began to glow and tighten around him, locking him in place.
Filthy human bitch! You don't belong in this world, and you will never have my son!
Damn, okay then. There's some prejudice shit going on.
Mother, what are you?
How'd you not see this?
Your mother's not here anymore, Matthew.
What?
She's been connected to the Demon Lord for too long. She's gone mad.
Fabulous.
Mad? I am speaking truth! The king of the demon world has no need for a disgusting human!
What?
He's just back there like, shut up, Mom. King of the demon world.
I'm afraid you are mistaken.
How am I mistaken? The demon lord is dead, so his son must take the throne!
The Demon Lord is dead. The rebellion has usurped the throne. Your son no longer has claim to it.
Get shittied.
The
Evil left.
rebellion merely paved the way for the true king to ascend to the throne. My son was always destined to take it, and your little siege helped him achieve his fate.
Mother, stop!
Enough, Sekedu!
She's like busting nuts as she's talking. The chains around Matthew's body tightened, and he winced and choked out a gasp of pain. I instinctively reached out and tried to move towards him, but Diana held me back, protecting me still. Azera looked to him with a sad expression, tears almost filling her eyes.
When you left, I was so alone. I didn't understand. I always asked, why? Why did my own son leave me here? You broke my heart. But then I realized it was part of your destiny.
Mother,
What's happening?
You were merely preparing to take the throne.
You're bonkers.
You needed to experience the human world before returning and taking your rightful place when the time was right. That's why you joined the rebellion.
no, that's not true. I came because the Demon Lord cursed.
Listen to yourself. You are a demon, Sekedu. You are the son of the Demon Lord, destined for greatness. Why are you fighting this?
Matthew pulled and struggled against the chains he was trapped under, no longer answering his mother. Azera, however, turned to me and Diana, rage dancing within her eyes.
You poisoned his mind. You enslaved my son.
Oh shit, calm down, lady. What? I like there's a terminology. I'm sure you've heard it where it says like cool your tits, but I don't think she can. They're literally like always inflamed. It wasn't true. I loved him and he loved me. This wasn't supposed to happen. Why was Matthew's mother doing this? Was she truly insane? Diana placed an arm on my shoulder, causing me to look up at her.
Don't bother listening to her. Her mind has been consumed by madness.
And you, Princess of Lilith, you dare oppose this kingdom? You swore your allegiance to the heir of the Demon Lord, yet you marched here with an army bent on destroying the kingdom that you had pledged yourself to!
She gets all quiet, I know her.
The Demon Lord broke his promise and murdered my family while I was in the human world doing his dirty work. My vow changed accordingly, and I swore that I would see his kingdom fall. A whipped woman like you would never understand.
Shit.
Whipped? I merely waited for the chance to kill him so that my son could take his rightful place. Let's not forget that I was the one to strike the final blow on the bastard.
I am warning you now. Stand down.
Shit, she about to get crossed off. Is there any way we could save her? The room became filled with a dark energy as Azera glared hard at Diana. her eyes glowing a deadly gold color. However, Diana seemed to be unaffected by her gaze, returning the venomous look with a cold, red-eyed stare.
Such arrogance!
Oh shit, look at her eyes.
Really think you can stand against me?
If it means finishing the job and freeing the world from madness, then yes.
Azera snarled before a blue aura enveloped her form. Her eyes began to flicker between her natural eye color to gold as the room adopted an eerie chill.
Then, allow me to clear the field of useless trash.
What are you gonna... Oh shit, are you fast too? What I didn't expect was Azera shooting a blue and black chain at me, a large blade jutting out at the end intent on running me through. Before I could scream, however, I was pushed back and fell onto the ground, the air in my lungs rushing out and leaving me breathless. As I managed to look up, I saw Diana standing in front of me, wings splayed out wide behind her. Twitching in furious rage, the chain in question had been knocked away and vanished into the air.
I won't let you touch her.
Oh, get shittied.
Has the human world tainted you too? You're defending a human! Yet you claim that I am the one who is mad!
Stop it!
Jeez.
Quiet!
Damn! Isn't that supposed to be your king? With a violent wave of her arm, Azera cast some sort of black mist over Matthew's mouth. As it took physical shape, a large blue steel mask in the shape of a bird's beak formed over Matthew's nose and mouth, completely covering the lower half of his face. He's like one of those doctors from Assassin's Creed.
This is for you, Cicadu. Let me finally give you the world you deserve.
You're sounding kind of gross. Azera looked back to Diana, rage fueling her glare and the cold, golden color over her irises.
I will warn you now, Queen of the Rebellion. You stand against a pure-blooded succubus.
Ew.
Not think you have any advantage over me. In fact, I am stronger than you can ever hope to be.
What? Isn't she like the freaking direct descendant of that one bitch? Like, I'm trying to figure out why she thinks she has an advantage. Another pure-blooded succubus? Oh, so they might be evenly matched then? I knew Diana was, but I thought she was the only one. How could there have been another? See? She's like this dumb bitch. Diana's quiet chuckle, however, broke me from my thoughts.
I recognize the strong scent of lilies.
You're
At least
another?
This fight will be interesting.
Oh my god, two of the same? Oh, it's about to go down. Something in Diana's voice changed, shooting shivers down my spine. I recognized her tone of voice. The cruel Diana was back. However, Diana's hand reached back to me. What was she doing?
Human, give me some of your energy. I don't need much to defeat this woman.
Didn't you use nothing? I'm pretty sure you did nothing. I mean, yeah, right? We've got to. Damn, that's just exposed. Holy shit. I'm gonna save again. I don't know whether or not giving her my energy would basically be siding. Would be not going, like, if I refuse, isn't that kind of, you know, siding with Matthew? We'll go with this, because I kind of feel like this girl needs to be outie. I didn't want this to happen, but Diana needed to fight her. Azera had already enthralled me once, and I knew I was no match for her. I took Diana's hand, feeling her quickly drain some energy from my body. The taint around her form began to pulse and glow slightly at the new energy in her body, but Diana didn't hold on for long. Diana pulled back her hand and began to chant quietly, waving her hand in the air by her head.
Enough talk! Die!
Whoa! At the sound of Azera's words, a volley of chains rushed out from behind her body and shot the... Oh, maybe they gave me that choice, because technically this could have been an opportunity for me to kill Diana too, if I was really that hellbent on it, you know what I'm saying? A volley of chains rushed out from behind her body and shot themselves towards Diana. Before they could reach her, however, Diana formed a familiar saber in her hand, parrying all of them and knocking them away from her. As they fell, the sudden, lifeless chains vanished into the ground, making Azera growl.
You're too slow. All of those years under the Demon Lord's body must have taken a toll on you.
You insolent bitch!
Damn, was that a sexual thing? Maybe. Diana suddenly shot herself into the air and swooped towards the other succubus, raising her saber and swinging to decapitate Azera. However, all Diana hit was a suddenly vanishing afterimage.
What?
She's fast too! Before my eyes, Azera appeared behind Diana. This is a Dragon Ball Z fight, floating in midair, with a large chain ready to slam down on Diana's dome. Diana! Diana quickly dodged to the side, knowing what my scream meant. However, the chain slammed itself onto Diana's left wing, causing her to dip and fall to the ground. Her body bounced off the marble surface as she landed on her stomach, knocking the wind out of her. No!
A succubus relying on wings. A bit old-fashioned. You really are the Lilith's bloodline to still depend on that method.
Diana snarled and looked up at Azera, gripping her injured wing. It looked broken, twitching in pain under Diana's fingers. However, the wing quickly reshaped itself and folded properly, as if it had never been broken in the first place. Diana smirked as Azera stared in shock.
It may be old-fashioned, but I make it work.
Damn straight. With that quip, Diana flew at Azera again. Her wings flapped as she sailed through the air for an accelerated boost. Azera glared before dispelling her chain and flying at Diana in return, meeting her halfway. Both of the women began to brawl and swipe at each other in the air, exchanging kicks and punches and either blocking each other's strikes or dodging them. I, however, looked to Matthew. He was still struggling, they're still going, against the chains around him, pulling roughly one way then another to try and find some leeway. His hands were bound to the armrests, leaving him no chance to use his power to summon anything. I kind of want to go to Matthew, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I also know I'm gonna have to go past that shit, so it sounds pretty intense. I'm gonna save again. I really want to try to get through this in one nice clean sweep. We're gonna go for Matthew again, you know what I'm saying? We've gone this far being completely selfless and trying to help him. We're doing it yet again. I couldn't just, maybe he'll get pissed and break out on his own, who knows. I couldn't just lay there. I had to do something. I quickly jumped up and ran towards Matthew, needing to help him. However, a large barrier forced me back onto the floor. Was Azera holding me back? It wasn't fair. Matthew! That's not my name. Diana and Azera finally shot away from each other, Diana landing near me and Azera landing beside Matthew.
Enough fooling around. You'll never outmatch me. Just surrender.
She must have a crazy amount of energy, because the Demon Lord even took some during that fight. Oh wait, she took it back. And she kind of like sucked the life out of him too.
Crowing like a proud bird won't convince me of your strength. If you claim to be stronger than me, then prove it!
Once more, Diana charged at Azera, zipping through the air like a bullet. Oh shit. From the shadows around Diana, lines of blue chains shot forth and reached for Diana's body. No! What the fuck? The chains quickly wrapped themselves around Diana's arms, legs, and encircled her neck and waist, squeezing her tightly. A choked garble managed to escape Diana's throat as the chains began to pull her limbs in opposite directions. Oh shit. My mind flashed back to the nightmare I had before I had arrived. Diana was chained in the air in the shape of a star, being pulled apart. However, this time, it was Azera who was pulling the chains. Azera laughed hysterically as she looked up at Diana's body, seeing the result of her sneak attack.
Such a shame, Princess of Lilith. Do you not like that? I thought you wanted me to prove my strength.
This is kind of cool. No! This girl's on point.
What a pitiful sight you are. Is that the best you can do, Princess of Lilith?
No! What's happening? Oh, with a snap of Azera's fingers, blue bolts of lightning ran down the chains and shot into Diana's form, causing her to release a heavy, garbled scream into the air. Diana, no! I had to think of something quick. I needed to save Matthew and Diana, but were both possible. Oh, but were both possible? Especially with a barrier in the way? Damn it! My mind instantly thought of Sero. Call his name! He had holy magic, so maybe he had the ability to break the barrier. However, what about Matthew? What if Azera did something else to him while Sero saved Diana? Damn it, then I remembered that I could summon Matthew to me using his real name. What if it helped him escape his bonds? There wasn't enough time to decide. I shouted at last, calling out the first name to come to mind. Shit, they're gonna make me decide. Damn it! We're going with him. Again, we've gone with him the whole game. I mean, that sounds like a good choice because Sero is like a fucking boss, but like I gotta go with him because I feel like Matthew, we've gone with him the whole game. I don't want to go back now. I don't want to. All right, but I saved anyway, just in case. We're calling him out. I needed to get Matthew out of there, and I knew exactly how. I called out his name, feeling the energy of the summoning course through my body. However, I watched as the chains around Matthew pulsed in reply, tightening harder around his body. Shit. Damn it. What? Why didn't it work? Using a demon's name was supposed to have broken through anything. Azera's laugh caused me to look to her.
Pathetic! Your love for him isn't strong enough!
What? This couldn't be. I stared at Azera, trying not to break into hysterics. The summoning spell didn't work. Before I could open my mouth to shout for Sarah, Azera raised her hand and smirked at Diana's body. Damn it, she's fucking dead, say you.
I've had enough fun with you.
Damn it. I didn't even get the chance to blink or close my eyes. Azera swept her hand through the air, causing the chains to release Diana's arms, legs, and waist, but tighten around her neck. With a bubbly garble, Diana cried out as the chains finally crushed her neck. Shit. Sit. Fuck. The sound of her neck snapping echoed through the room before the chains finally released her. Diana's body dropped to the ground and slammed onto it with a terrifying thud.
As much as I would have loved to rip you apart, I don't want any more blood on the marble.
Gross. No! Diana remained on the ground lifeless. Tears began to flood my eyes as I stared at her fallen body before glaring hard at Azera. As we locked eyes, she began to laugh hysterically.
The rebellion has lost its precious queen. This war is over.
Azera then sneered at me. Damn it, I'm fucking crossed off. I already know it. Stepping down from the throne dais to walk slowly towards me. Matthew best break out of that. I felt my body freeze at her gaze. She was enthralling me again. I fought back with my willpower, trying to deny her any control over my form, but I remained as still as a statue, only able to breathe.
You waste of space. Do you really think you can just claim my son? He's about to serve a higher purpose and you are in his way. Don't you see that?
I gritted my teeth, fighting back harder. I could feel waves of energy rush through me, ordering me to obey her mental commands, but I refused to acknowledge them. I wasn't going to give in to her.
All you are good for is being chained to a bed and milked of your energy like a good little harem girl.
Oh, shit.
Energy would be able to sustain him for decades.
I stared wide-eyed at her, feeling her energy surge in my body and seeing her smirk grow with each step she took towards me. Her eyes were glistening with sadistic rage.
Maybe that's what we'll do with you.
Oh no!
You can be my son's favorite plaything. He'll always have a source of energy and will become powerful enough to completely rule over this world with an iron fist, while you get to live. Would you like that?
My mind began to flash back to the nightmare I had of Matthew staring at me with a cold, sadistic gaze and smile. I had to fight myself from shuddering as I battled against Azera's hold. Matthew will never listen to you.
Won't he? I've been draining him of his willpower this whole time.
Damn it.
He won't be able to disobey me anymore.
What? How could you do that to your own son, dude? My heart stopped and I could feel Azera's hold take over as my spike of fear lowered my resolve. She was doing what? My eyes darted over to the throne, terror clutching at my heart. He was going to obey her? I looked to Matthew to see the chains disappear from his body as he slowly stood, his head down with his bangs shielding his eyes. I became wide-eyed as he slowly descended the dais and began to walk towards his mother in a zombie-like fashion. Azera looked over her shoulder at her son and chuckled before turning back to me.
Now, be a good boy and chain this.
Whoa, that wasn't what I expected. My voice caught in my throat as I witnessed a blade ramming through Azera's chest. Damn! Making her gasp and tremble in shock. From behind her, Matthew lifted his head to reveal his tear-stained eyes as he held onto the blade that he had impaled his mother on with a shaky grip. Azera turned her head to try and look at him. Matthew!
What?
There's no blade there.
I'm sorry, but I love her.
Get shittied. My heart swelled in both love but despair. This wasn't fair to him, but it was between her or me, and Matthew made his choice. You shouldn't have been weird.
Goodbye, Mother.
See! Without another word, Matthew pulled the blade out of Azera's body and swung it around his head, cutting a large gash onto her back. What? Why? And forcing her down to the ground. My body became my own again as I crawled back from her falling body. Damn. Azera hit the ground and quickly went limp, lifeless at last. Like it's just a fucking relief. I guess it would be. Matthew, however, gripped to his blade and stared at what he had done with both in pain and in shame. Damn. My heart began to cry for Matthew. He had struck down his own mother, one whom he loved with every part of his being. This undoubtedly impacted him hard, and I could never know what ran through his mind. I slowly stood and walked over, standing before Matthew as he dropped his blade and averted his gaze to the side. I'm sorry, bruh. Matthew? I slowly raised my arms to offer a hug, and instantly, Matthew pulled me to him and pressed my body against his, burying his face into my shoulder. I could tell he was fighting back tears, but couldn't stop himself from letting some go, pressing his forehead against my neck. All I could do was hold him and hug him with the same amount of force. It's over now. It's over. I gently ran my fingers through Matthew's hair, trying to calm him down. Eventually, he let his sadness out, making us both collapse onto the floor, on our knees, gripping to each other, tightly. His fingers dug into my shirt, pressing me even harder against his chest as he wept against my shoulder. I, however, was silent, trying to take everything in. The Demon Lord was dead, and so was Matthew's mother. The war had essentially been won. The sight of Diana's dead body made a hard realization course through me like a wave. The Queen of the Rebellion had been slain as well, leaving the world with the 4 rebel leaders to care for it. Shit. What of Sarah? What would he do now with his lady was gone? I was free to go home, but the price seemed too harsh for the gift to be worth receiving. I lowered my head to Matthew's shoulder, weeping softly to him. This war may have been over, and the rebellion may have won, but the lives lost were significant and powerful enough to break hearts. I mean, I'd fucking hope so, shit. I had to leave this all behind, unable to change anything.
Well, you
It ends like that!
Congratulations!
I mean, we technically did it.
You've made
Hold the
it to
phone.
the end of your...
Hold the phone. Let's save right here and go back, and I want to see exactly what happened. Okay? Because I want to see what happens if we choose the other way. Just for shits and gigs. Alright, we're calling out Sarah's name now, okay? We're just going to see what happens, because apparently the game ends right there, so that's all well and good. But let's just see what the other option would have been. Is it happier? Either way, I'm glad I didn't die. I didn't get crossed off. That was objective number 1. But what I want to see now is there a slightly better ending, or does Diana get crossed off one way or the other? Let's find out. Diana was in danger, and Matthew wasn't. I knew... Shit, that's a good fucking rationale. Why didn't I think of that? I knew that his mother wouldn't hurt him, so I had... Why didn't I think of that either? Shit. So I had to get Diana out of her predicament first. As Sarah's name reverberated from my lips, a bright light flashed through the room, causing Azera to cover her eyes and making me and Matthew turn our heads. Why is he just not here? He should be right here in this battle all the time. Like, in every scenario, this is where he should be.
What?
What the fuck? Damn, look at that. As quickly as it came, the light vanished, revealing Sarah holding Diana close to his body as she barely managed to stay afloat with her magic. Now this is going to be a freaking epic battle. Angel between, I'm assuming, one of the most powerful demons of the world. The chains had been broken and were slowly fading away as Sarah glared intensely at Azera. She stared back in shock at who she saw.
What is this?
Sarah.
The guard didn't reply, only intent on holding on to Diana and doing something with his spear. Well then, which he grasped in a white-knuckled grip. His body seemed to glow a white color that spread to gently engulf Diana's body in his hold.
Dare lay your hands on my queen?
She's about to get shit on, okay? Like, literally, she probably thought, oh, you know, this is who I have to worry about. As Sarah raised his spear up like a javelin, Azera stepped back in fear. The weapon began to emit a dangerous golden color in his grasp, its aura flickering through the air.
Periat celesti bestia!
With a strong throw, Sarah shot his spear at Azera, and she protectively brought her arms in front of her and formed a blue barrier around her body. That might not be enough, girl. The spear's blade slammed into the barrier, continued to push against it, trying to reach its target. The barrier was cracking as the spear attempted to pierce through it, but the cracks would seal themselves together again as soon as they appeared. Azera struggled to keep it from piercing through the barrier around her. That's using up some energy. Ooh. Diana barely hanged on to Sarah, guiding them both back towards me, landing safely on the ground next to me before Diana almost collapsed.
I'm fine.
However, Diana's eyes rolled into the back of her head and forward as she fell into Sarah's arms. He tightened his hold on her, hugging her form to him as his eyes began to fill with panic. Diana was out for the count now. The sound of a heavy clatter echoed through the chamber as Sarah's spear was finally knocked away and fell to the ground, no longer glowing. Azera, however, seemed worn out from spending so much energy to defend against Sarah's weapon, and the barrier around her faded away.
How does a demon have holy magic?
About to get shit on. I couldn't believe it. The spear was emitting holy magic? Then how was Azera able to block it and push it away? The light in Azera's eyes faded as she snarled at Sarah before she moved her hands in front of her body again and shot out a large blue orb wrapped in black chains towards him. It cut through the air like with bullet-like speed, slamming into Sarah and Diana's bodies before Sarah had the chance to look up. Shit! Damn it, dude. They both flew backwards and slammed into the far wall, landing on the ground beside each other with a painful sounding pair of thuds. Sarah, Diana! I looked back at Azera, both furious and fearful of her. Azera then sneered at me, stepping down from the throne dais to walk slowly towards me. All right, I think this is where it normally... This is where it gets back to normal. Here we go.
Now, be good
Shit.
and shame this.
So it is slightly better. Okay, so in this scenario, I'm assuming Sarah and Diana don't die. They just got shocked a little bit. And she was kind of toying with me when Matthew came to the rescue. All right. Well, he still has to do it. I was hoping, actually, really what I was hoping for was not a better ending where Diana didn't die. I mean, I kind of wanted that too. But I also wanted it to be where, like, he didn't have to kill his mom, because that kind of sucks ballsack. But let's just go ahead and go through it, because I don't think there is a way. If there is a way, let me know in the comments. We'll try to get it at a later point, but we'll stick with this ending for now. Slightly better.
But I love her.
Okay, she loves us. Skip to the end. Here we go. As a soft rustle caught me and Matthew off guard, we turned to see Sarah and Diana leaning against the far wall, slowly rising and leaning on each other to remain on their feet.
Well, that was interesting, to say the least.
You literally, I mean, you did stuff. You kind of did. I'm pretty sure she didn't even fight the Demon Lord. So in this version, she kind of got scrubbed on a little bit. Matthew didn't speak a word as he looked away from Diana. Sarah guided Diana over with a protective arm around her waist as she looked down at us.
Matthew, I'm sorry for what you had to do.
I know.
However, you saved the woman you loved.
Matthew slowly turned to look at me in the eyes as I did him. His face was stricken with tears, but his expression became one of slow acceptance.
She has been your rock ever since you met her. If you had let your mother control you, I would have killed both you and her.
Oh, shit. I mean, you really kind of did. You kind of got scrubbed on when you just tried to fight her, straight up. I don't know how that would have worked out for her. As harsh as her words were, I could understand why she said them. Matthew and I stared into each other's eyes as we took in what Diana said. She was right. I loved him, and he was happy, to have him alive and in my arms. That was all that mattered. I smiled and took his head into my hands, leaning in and pressing my forehead against his. Again with that? We're alive and we can go home now. Matthew slowly grinned and nodded, cupping my head in his hands as well.
Yeah. We can go home now.
It's dead, Mom. Yeah, let's go home. A loving laugh bounced between us, and no, just laughing now. We finally let everything sink in. We were together, alive and in love, and we had won, and we were going to return to the human world and be together for the rest of our lives. I barely noticed the gagging noise Diana made behind us.
Sarah, take me away from this. I'm feeling nauseous just looking at them.
Why? What the fuck? Oh, you're off to go, Bone, whatever. Sarah, however, chuckled and guided Diana out of the room, waving his hand over the air before exiting completely. As I looked around, the room became vacant of any damage or death. There were no bodies or any trace of blood. Matthew and I were alone to each other and wait until the horns sounded for the war to be officially over. Matthew gently pulled me close and rested my head on his chest, resting his chin on the top of my hair.
I love you.
Fabulous. I couldn't fight the smile that painted itself over my cheeks as I nuzzled close to Matthew, relaxing at last. I love you too. Okay, so this is the end where we're gonna, have that small moment with Diana. So we're gonna see, do we have the opportunity to stop Diana from dying? Because if not, I'm honestly gonna I'm gonna go back and I'm just gonna let that girl break her neck, because I don't want to be the one to do it realistically. So let's just see what ends up happening. It was indeed another world, and tonight was my last night in it.
I guess this will be my last night, won't it?
What? I turned my head to Diana in confusion. She didn't look to me and continued to smile at the sky. What was she talking about? Dude. In Diana's hands formed a small goblet containing a dark liquid, I assumed to be wine. She placed the goblet towards me on the balcony without looking and waited. She avoided looking towards me as she waited for something to happen. What was she? I then felt a small weight in my pocket, and memories flood back into my mind. I stared at Diana in shock, and then when I realized what she was doing, she knew all along, man. These people suck. They suck, man. She knew she was about to get crossed off, and she was willing to take it. I stared at the goblet, now measuring the worth of this action. The vial in my pocket could be so many things. A sleeping, drought, poison, acid. Diana, however, seemed to be accepting of whatever it was. I became suddenly conflicted. Did I want to do this to her? No! I didn't. Now this is good, because what I was expecting to happen was that we were going to end up not being able to go through with it, which of course is what I was going to do, right? I didn't want to kill her. And then I was assuming we were going to, like, instead of giving it to her, like, let her know that this is what was going on and that they had planned this. But she already knows. So we gotta show that we're on her side, because we are. And also, you know, second to that, we don't want to get crossed off. So let's just say no. I remembered the promise I had made, but I couldn't go through with it. Diana was my friend now, and she had done so much for me in this world. She didn't deserve whatever the vial had in store for her. I took the goblet and cleared my throat, finally getting Diana to turn her head and look at me. It can't be your last night. You have a world to rule. One drink isn't going to kill you. Diana stared at me, a look of pure confusion on her face, before she looked to the goblet in my hand, seeing it remain pure. I smiled as she watched me lift the goblet to my lips and drink from it. Shit! In instinct, Diana reached for me in a panic, but I stepped away from her, holding the goblet away. Hey, you gave it to me. Damn it, did it already have poison in it?
But it...
Fuck me, dude. Really? Are you shitting my balls? Are you literally shitting my balls? Diana. I stared plainly at the succubus, reaching my free hand into my pocket and revealing the still corked vial. I held it out to her and she gently took it, staring at it before looking back up at me. You deserve to rule this world. Okay, good. I thought someone already poisoned it just to make sure in case I scrubbed up. Anyone who says otherwise is an idiot. Diana's eyes began to water as her face became red and her lips began to tremble. Did she really expect me to use the vial? She held the vial tightly and covered her eyes, most likely not wanting me to see her cry. I felt incredibly sorry for her, seeing her weep silently. She was a target, and she expected her death to come around because of her standing as queen of the rebellion. What will Diana do when she officially takes the crown of the entire demon world? I waited as Diana rubbed her eyes and cleared her throat, now finished with her personal breakdown. She looked to me and smiled slightly.
Well, I guess one drink won't hurt me, huh?
I hope you don't get shafted. She twisted her free hand around the air and formed a second goblet, filled with the same liquid that was in my cup, and raised towards me. I smiled and clinked my goblet against hers.
Thank you, my dear.
Fabulous. To the new queen of the abyssal plains, long may she reign. We simultaneously sipped our drinks and let the words ring between us. It was a worthy toast and Diana deserved it. She would be the new queen of the... See, I knew something like this would probably have happened if I chose to go with the plan from the get-go, but I'm glad to see that it actually did, because I didn't want on the off chance for the game to decide for me and then I'd just be screwed. So she'd be the new queen of the demon world.
Well,
Great. So I want to see this though, because
Nevertheless, I'm glad
I want to see what
things
happens
worked out in the
afterwards,
end.
whether we fucked up or
it was
whether she
for the
does go
better,
mad or not.
Diana became the sovereign of the entire plane, accepted and loved by practically everyone because of her devotion to the world and her bravery in the war. Sero, as devoted as ever, remained by her
Sweet.
side as her loyal bodyguard. Diana became one of the most beloved
Yes!
rulers in all of
See?
demon world history. Her natural heart of gold led her to lead the world to a prosperous future, one filled with peace and happiness. However, she had a long list of words to say against the rebel leaders. You did give her the vial of poison, after all?
She didn't kill him though.
Because of... well, because you decided to kill Diana,
What?
the rebels were able to take over and unite the world under their rule. I still will never understand why you did it, but I guess you had your reasons.
While Diana had a heart of gold, she wasn't at all forgiving of what they had attempted to do to her through you. She made them choose between death or banishment from the Central Council. Shittied.
Faye,
Okay.
Sergeant, and Rabbit chose banishment. Shadow chose death.
Damn, Shadow's fucking OG, dude. Jeez, are you serious? We'll see ya. Why would he choose death? Does he really give that much of a shit? Like, seriously.
Matthew and you went back to the human world and had a peaceful night in your bed before moving on and getting married.
A peaceful night?
Huh? How do I know?
Let's check it out. The wedding day, which was rescheduled without an issue, became as perfect as I had imagined it to be. The ceremony was perfect and the reception was filled with food, cake, streamers, and everything a perfect party should have. Our night became filled with both excitement, fun dancing, and a feeling of perfection as the realization of everything hit me. I was at last married to the man of my dreams. I could go on and on about the wedding and the honeymoon, but honestly, after the war, I was more concerned about living my life afterwards. Our lives exploded with possibilities after we officially became husband and wife. Matthew helped escalate the Anderson Toy Company to new heights with his brother and became a head designer for toys. That makes sense. He actually made the little thing. He began to pump out idea after idea, becoming a master toy maker like my grandfather was. As for me, I began to go through my own success in life, dedicating myself to becoming exactly what I wanted to be, which we still have no idea about. After all, my husband was being a master toy designer. If I put the same amount of work in as I did in the demon world, then I was going to be okay. However, there was never a day that went by that I didn't think about what was happening in the Abyssal Plains. It was a heavy chapter in my life, one that tested the love between me and Matthew. The memories of our final fight with the Demon Lord and Azera still haunted me slightly, but it only showed how passionate Matthew was with keeping me safe and remaining as my own. I was blessed to have him as mine after everything we went through. Still, I was confident that we would get through it and stay together no matter what came our way. Demon, devil, whatever, it didn't matter to us, we were unstoppable together. I sat at the dining room table looking over the multiple photos that were taken from our wedding. There were so many goofy smiles, embraces, and tear-jerking moments that spanned throughout every picture. I felt myself grinning at the sight of each one, remembering vividly each moment as it was shot and captured in nostalgic euphoria. I almost wanted to go back in time and relive it all over again just to feel the emotions run through me once again the first time through. What do you think, Simon? Oh, did you just chill on the table? That's awesome. I looked to my furry friend, pointing at an image that managed to catch him jumping for the bridal garter in his surprisingly human form. What? How he managed to learn that, I would never know, but I was excited to have had him as a guest instead of just my lucky charm. Simon wobbled over from his spot, looking at the image and gave me a silly grin. It still looked a little evil, but I had begun to recognize which of his smiles were actually filled with ill intent and which were genuine. I giggled and slid it over to him, picking it up off of the table and handing it to him and watching him sit back on his fluffy tail, looking at it in awe. I guess in pictures were still a wonder to Simon or something. Still, since they didn't move. Shaking my head, I began to slowly pile the rest of the images together, eager to store them away for the future and frame some up just for the sake of the memories. As I did, Matthew walked into the room, hands behind his back with a smile. Oh, hey, Matthew.
Hey, what you doing?
Oh, I was just looking at our wedding photos. I got a bit nostalgic, you know. Matthew nodded and walked over, looking over them over my shoulder. I, however, attempted to be sly and look over his in return and try and glimpse at what he might have had been hiding behind his back. To my surprise, there was nothing there, making Matthew smirk and laugh.
I know I have a nice butt. You don't need to try and sneak a peek at it, okay?
Oh my God, Matthew. I gave Matthew a playful slap on the shoulder as both of us began to laugh wildly at the joke. Matthew was the first to calm down, wrapping an arm around my shoulder and continued to look at the pictures.
Man, it's been like, what, a couple months since the wedding?
You don't know? Yeah, how time flies. I laid my head on Matthew's shoulder, letting my emotions drift into a state of calm and serenity in his half embrace. Matthew lowered his head and kissed the top of my hair before nuzzling it with his cheek.
I still remember it. Oh, I was so nervous saying my vows.
Me too. It was like a dream from long ago. Both of us reveled in the memory of us exchanging vows and saying I do to one another. I could feel the rush of happy realization wash over me as I affirmed to myself Matthew was my husband. Matthew grinned before kissing my temple and standing up straight, placing his hands behind his back once again. When he brought them forward, I was shocked to see him bring around a present box, beautifully wrapped and tied with a bow. Huh, Matthew, what is this?
Something that I think you and Simon will like.
And Simon? Shit. Simon perked up at the sound of his name as I straightened up in my chair, now beyond curious of what was in the box. As Matthew slowly unwrapped it, I gasped at what popped out of it. It's a freaking female one! That is awesome! Wow! Look at that! Another doll? Bursting from the now open top was a fluffy doll that looked almost like Simon but with a bow on its head and a cute curl in its tail. It looked around and hopped onto the table, skittering over to Simon. Of course, Simon brandished his toy knife, but stopped as the doll came up close and sniffed at him, grinning at him and hopping around him excitedly. A couple of sniffs from Simon caused him to do the same to his new friend.
I figured since we're married and stuff, maybe it was time to get Simon a playmate of his own. You know?
What? I smiled as the two furry dolls bounced around each other, now excited for their new company, and stood, walking over to Matthew. He lowered the box and wrapped his arms around me, grinning down at me as I nuzzled my nose to his. You are the absolute best, you know that?
I do my best for you.
Matthew raised his hand and brushed a strand of hair behind my ear before cupping my cheek. I felt his warmth radiate from his hand, causing me to lean into it and smile. I love you, Matthew. I love you so much. Or so much, damn.
I love you too. More than anything. And I'll always be here with you, working to keep a smile on your face.
Wonderful. I couldn't stop my smile from growing before leaning in and kissing Matthew lovingly, feeling him kiss back with the same amount of love and passion I had. He would always be here with me and no one would be able to take him away. I would be here, arms wide open for him, and would fill him with my love for as long as I lived. And that was my perfect happily ever after. You know what? My love for you is endless, E. That's pretty freaking sick. Let's go past that. That actually, it was pretty awesome. I really enjoyed Matthew's storyline. That was probably, honestly, probably one of my favorite ones. I mean, the Sam one was really intense. You know what I'm saying? The James one had some good plot too. But you know what? Between Eric and Matthew, I feel like I like Matthew's a bit better. Eric's was kind of funny, but Matthew, I really enjoyed his. That was actually kind of cool. So let me know which one you've liked so far. If you've been following this series the whole time, which has been your favorite so far? We're almost done. We have Diana and Damien left. So that means go ahead and drop your votes down below. We're going to be moving into the giveaway in just 1 second. So go ahead and drop your votes down below for who you want in the next playthrough. Again, only Diana and Damien are left. We're going to go jump right to the giveaway, come back, and do the rest of this video. Alright guys, so welcome to the giveaway. Basically today, we have a few codes left to give away. Again, we have only 2 more routes. I'm going to give the other winner a little bit more time because I'm pretty sure they have not contacted me. I don't remember actually going ahead and giving the code to the last time's winner, which is VidServant Rise. So I'm going to give them a little bit more time because of the fact that I had a pretty rapid succession of Seduce Me videos very recently. So I'm going to give them a tad bit more time. Maybe we'll give the next code away towards either the beginning or like the very early stages of the following playthrough, which is to be determined. I haven't tallied up the votes for this playthrough yet and added them to the already existing list. So we don't know whether it's going to be Damien or whether it's going to be Diana for next time, but we're going to find out pretty soon. I want to record more of this and jump into more Seduce Me because I want to actually get through Seduce Me for one, just because I really am enjoying it. I always really like actually sitting down and recording it. And 2, I want to move on to some more games like it, maybe from the same developer or otherwise. I think it'll be really fun. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and scroll through this list really quick. Let me know what you think about that in the comments, whether you want to see more. By the way, I was pronouncing it Atome. Apparently it's Atome. Somebody was mentioning that in the comments. Yeah, so let me know if you want to see more Atome games or just visual novels in general. I'm sure there's a bunch of them out there, so I'm sure you guys can give me some recommendations and I'll pick some of the ones that you guys really want to see. So as I'm going through this list, go ahead and just pause it because I know I'm going kind of fast, but just make sure your name is in there if you know you've entered multiple times. I've been pretty good about, making sure I, keep all those people in there and making sure it's up to date and all that stuff. I did just go back and double check and add all the people that were stragglers. Either way, hopefully you enjoy this and good luck to everybody. Okay, hopefully you enjoy the video so far. Good luck to everybody. Here we go. We're going to go ahead and get the winner for the Matthew playthrough. Okay, this is for Matthew. The Eric code still has yet to be claimed, okay, as far as I know. So the Matthew one is up for grabs, and here we go. Good luck to everybody. 3, 2, 1. There, Kelly Says Roars. All right, so congratulations, Kelly Says Roars. Been in the videos for a hella long time. I mean, this is one of those people that's been around for quite a while, so I really appreciate your continued, viewership and enjoying the series and everything like that. All you guys are absolutely fantastic. We do have a couple more codes to go, so if you haven't won yet, don't lose faith. We still have the other one to give away. I kind of have a feeling that person's not going to claim their code, so that one might be up for grabs in just a little while here. You might be seeing yet another giveaway, like a bonus giveaway, I guess you could say, where we're going to select a brand new winner. So Kelly Says Roars, you basically have until the end of the following playthrough. So until whoever we're doing next, you have until the end of that playthrough. So a decent bit of time, depending on how fast we go through it. You know, if we go through it abnormally quick, like in like a week's time, which is very unlikely, but it could happen. If we do go through it that quick, don't worry, I'll give you some more time. You know, I'd say about 2 to 3 weeks is probably, you know, around the time span that you have to get back to me. You know, send me a YouTube private message. If you have Twitter, tweet me. It's at Mr. Basie, or you could just send me a YouTube private message by going to my About section on YouTube and clicking the message section, and I'll obviously get that notification. So with that being said, let's jump back to the giveaway, or I'm sorry, back to the video and wrap this up. All right, guys, so we're back. Congratulations to the winner. Hopefully you enjoy your copy of the game and, you know, get to experience as much of the game as you possibly can. I mean, it's a really good game. I'm loving how thorough it is. You know what I'm saying? There's just so much content in this game. It's actually kind of nice. You know, we've been doing this. It came out like a few months ago at the very least, and we're still going, you know, with fairly frequent episodes. So pretty awesome stuff. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Again, drop your, you know, re-entries and entries for the giveaway, because it's still going on. We still have codes to give away, and I'm still tallying up the votes. Remember, your name can be entered multiple times. Each video is a new entry opportunity, so make sure you definitely, you know, take advantage of that. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed. Definitely make sure you rate the video what you think it deserved. If you did enjoy, please consider sharing the video as well. That kind of stuff really helps me out a lot, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, or any social media really, or even word of mouth with your friends. That's really awesome too. Of course, it directly helps me as well as the entire community and is greatly appreciated. So with that being said, if you want to become a sage in training, make sure you subscribe today. And as always, this has been Mr. Basie, your favorite sage, and I'll see you in the next video.